Hello, Cancer, and welcome to your September 2025 tarot card reading. Let's dive in here. Let's see what you need to know for the upcoming month. Now, obviously, I'm a little bit late in publishing these, so we will get this into the first week of October as well. So we start with the Nine of Coins, Fool, the Nine of Wands, Eight of Wands, Nine of Cups. Okay. I really like this set of cards. The only thing is this Nine of Wands in the middle here kind of feels like there's an element of caution in your mindset or the way you're approaching things. It seems like there's a lot of excitement or a lot of forward motion, and yet you, Cancer, are kind of like, well, let's just keep it under wraps, right? Let's not broadcast it. Let's not talk about it. Let's not get overly excited. Let's not, and I want to be clear, I don't think this is negative. I think this is a little bit more just you protecting, right? That's very Cancerian, the tendency to protect, right? That's a part of the archetype. And I think what you're doing is you're either protecting a process, protecting the way you feel about things, or, but whatever it is you're protecting, you are protecting it. And it's like you don't want to ruin it. You don't want to accidentally throw a wrench in the spokes by doing anything, right? You don't want to get overly excited. You don't want to be overly optimistic. You just want to stay as, well, overly excited or overly pessimistic, I meant to say. You don't want to be one way or the other in too much of an extreme. So you're just kind of, it feels very stoic to me. Like, let's be stoic about the things that are going on around me. Let's be stoic around the progress, even though there is a lot of progress and things are moving forward in a positive direction. But again, you're in this protective mode right now because I think you don't want to ruin it, or you don't want to jinx it, or you don't want to get in the way, or whatever it is. But I don't mind this. I don't think this is the worst thing in the world for a Cancer, because everything else is looking like it's moving in the right direction. Now with the Nine of Coins, this card really starts us off with like, okay, Cancer, whatever it is you're doing in your life, you seem to be in a really good position. You've built yourself up. You've earned the money, you've learned the lessons, you've had the wisdom, right? You've really put yourself in a good position. This is a position of value, and it's usually a position that people are drawn to, right? They want to be a part of it, they understand it, they aspire to this. This is an aspirational energy, so that means you, Cancer, are an aspirational force, right? Something or someone that people reach to attain. And this often indicates, though, that you are ready for a turn of events. I know that's not a normal interpretation of this card, but you've built yourself up to this degree, and that's great and that's lovely, but there's really nowhere else to go just for yourself here. This is the highest that an individual can get. So the next card is the Ten of Coins, which has extensions, right? It has family, it has legacy, it has businesses, it has things that can be an extension of you. So you are in this beautiful position to now begin extending out. And I think this is what this story is ultimately about, is you extending out, or you taking a leap into something new, as we see with the Fool card. Now the Fool is both a beginning and an end. So it's clear that you've reached some type of an ending here. You've gone through certain personal processes and you've kind of reached some type of a plateau or a cap. And now you're ready to kind of make your way on the journey to the next level. So that's the end of where you currently are, but the beginning of where you're going. And I know that sounds kind of like cliche, like obviously, isn't that every single day? Yes, it is every single day. But I think there are certain moments in life where this is a bit more pronounced, right? That there's nowhere really higher to go just for yourself. So I think that is it's more pronounced. So we start to branch out, and that's what this Fool is. It's about Cancer branching out and reaching for, I don't know, maybe your goals have really changed. Maybe the vision for your life has also really changed. Maybe the desires that drive you, right? The motivators, the inspiring energies have changed. And so, yes, your direction has also changed. Again, you're being very protective. I don't want to rehash this whole Nine of Wands card because I just went over it. But, I do think that you're being protective of this because it does seem a bit fragile. Like I say, it's like you don't want to jinx it. You don't want to throw a wrench in the spokes because you can tell that there's motion. You can tell that things are happening. And to me, this card usually suggests that things are happening smoothly. And it makes sense that you don't want to get in the way of this. This is like, everything's working so perfectly. Why ruin a good thing? It's all moving in the right direction. Why ruin a good thing? So you're not trying to do anything to disrupt. Eight of Wands does suggest a very straight line from point A to point B. There's no chaos, there's no drama, there's no confusion, there's no conflict. It's just smooth. Smooth as, clear blue skies and clear blue ocean straight ahead. Like there's just simply no obstacles. And this is headed straight toward the Nine of Cups, right? All these wands, they're pointing straight to the Nine of Cups, which is the card of wishes coming true. And I think, your dreams have expanded. Because once you get to this level, you may sit here for a little while, this Nine of Coins level. Like you may just sit there and you may enjoy it for a little while. But it's only a matter of time before you start saying, okay, there has to be something else, right? This is the power of Jupiter, which is currently in your sign right now. Jupiter is a planet of good luck, good fortune, but also growth and expansion. So while I know that you are grateful and appreciative for this Nine of Coins moment, I just don't know that it really feels like enough. I think there's a little bit of two things going on. I think you are content and happy and fulfilled with this, but there's also a desire for something else. And that's what the Fool is all about. That's what the Eight of Wands is all about, is that you are still transitioning, or that you are beginning a transition. And it is a transition that will ultimately make these dreams come true, as we see with the Nine of Cups. The thing with the Nine of Cups is there's often this knowing, because I don't know in the first part of September that you're really going to have the actual hard evidence that everything is unfolding exactly as you want, right? I don't know that you're going to have the hard evidence there. But because we're not really, we have coins here, and we'll see what comes out in the second row. These coins say, yeah, you've manifested a lot, you've grown a lot, but you already know that. This is your current situation. What we're trying to say is, what I'm trying to say is that you're moving, you're transitioning, and it's going to happen quickly, it's going to happen fast. But this is just a feeling, as it's a cup card. It has more to do with the emotion than physicality. So in your heart, you will know that, yes, my wishes are coming true, but you may not really see things happen. It's happening fast, but in the first part of September, just a couple of weeks, it may, might just be like a feeling that, yes, this is good, but you may not have the evidence right in front of your eyeballs there, which is fine, because the Nine of Cups is so faithful and so trusting. And that's one of the reasons why it's so magical, because trust and faith are some of the most magical energies that we can tap into. And when you just have that sense of knowing it's going to work out, knowing it's moving in the right direction, that's you sort of casting little magical spells out there in the universe that make it inevitable that, yes, it will come true. Okay? All right, Cancer, what else? Let's see what comes through. Four of Wands, Five of Cups, Three of Cups. I'm really happy that I did mention the beginning and end with the Fool, because he is both, right? The number 0 is circular, it's infinite, kind of like the Ouroboros, right? This snake that eats its own tail and just keeps going round and round and round. And then we also have the World, which has this wheel as well. And this is more so the ending card, as it's the last card in the major arcana. So yes, there is some pretty substantial ending that's coming through in September. Now, this is actually more Libra season, so like the last week of September, last week and a half, past the 22nd, that's probably when you really start to feel things truly closing out, and you feel this phase sort of moving into the past, because right now it's your present. But as you start to branch out slowly and you start to expand slowly into your future, there will come a moment where that feels, I know it was just a few weeks ago, but it's going to feel like a long time ago. But there is a little bittersweet energy that comes through, especially with this Five of Cups. Now, this is really common for eclipse season, especially with, so just so you know, we have an eclipse tomorrow in Pisces at 15 degrees. As of today, September 6th, we have Uranus stationing retrograde. We had a very eventful first week of September. Okay, a lot of things happened. We had Pluto moving out of bounds. We had Saturn moving back into Pisces. So now it's conjunct the fixed star sheet, which is highly destructive. So there is a lot regarding loss or surrender, especially with the heavy Pisces energy right now. Loss, surrender, letting go. And I mentioned faith and trust, which is the more magical, more positive, more creative aspects of Pisces. But there are certainly things that have to be let go. There are things that need to be released. There are things that need to be considered done and gone. And I think Cancer, you are going to feel sadness, because there's a lot of melancholy and sadness that comes through here. And with these 3 cups spilled over, and the 3 of Cups literally right next to it, right? So we've got 3 cups spilled, 3 cups here. It tells me that maybe there's something regarding people, okay? Also maybe something that, like, it's clear that there has been some success. 9 of Coins, 3 of Cups, even the 4 of Wands suggests like your stability. There's an element of, you know, friendship, connection, people, like your circle. But it almost feels like some of that is dropping off. And I don't think any of it is bad. I just think that you're moving into a new life. I think that 8 of Wands is carrying you very quickly into the wishes and dreams that you had. And I just don't know that this circle of people, this group of friends, this social connection, whatever it is, really has a place. Now, I don't see you going super hardcore and cutting people off in like a really brutal kind of way. I don't see that. It just feels like a soft drifting. And I think it's like in your heart, you know that as you're moving forward, that this is just being left behind. It's not a cold, hard, fast break. You know, it's not like you're blocking people or cutting them off or anything like that. It's not like that. It's just a knowing in your heart that there's not going to be a place for this. And I think that makes you sad. And maybe that's one of the reasons too why you're being a bit productive, is because you don't want to speed this up any faster than it has to be. I think you want time, you want the process of this unfolding to happen organically and naturally. I don't think Cancer is out there trying to force and push it. You know, I think you're ready. I think you have that like, come on, let's go. I'm ready for the next thing. I know you have that. But even here still, it's like, I understand that it has to happen in its own time, which is why I'm not telling the whole world about it. Because if it takes 1 month or if it takes 6 months, I don't want it. I don't think it's going to take 6 months, by the way, but I think that's your mentality. You're like, I just don't want to be premature about anything. Because I think you know that there's going to be a drifting away from this Three of Cups, and I think that makes you kind of sad. And I think you are somewhat uprooting yourself a little bit here, Cancer. Now, it's kind of interesting that I'm even saying that because we have the Four of Wands, which is more about stability and being grounded and rooted in something, right? Having those root systems. But I don't know. Now, this is the only card in the whole reading that suggests anything kind of sad or, upsetting or emotional. And so that's one of the reasons why I think that you might be letting go of this Four of Wands. You might be letting go of this stability, of this predictability. It's almost as though your path is kind of calling you, and it's calling you away from things that you have known, and is forcing a significant detachment. And it's not like you really asked for it. It's not like that's what you really wanted. It's just where this is going. And sometimes that's just it's just an undeniable force. And I do think it makes your heart feel a little heavy. I think you're still very happy about the notion that things are moving in the direction that you ultimately have intended, and that you're kind of moving away from maybe a bit of a stagnant place, and that you're being called into an unknown, exciting adventure. But there is a cost. And I think that cost is kind of hitting you, especially as we hit that new moon eclipse in Virgo, which is going to be on the 21st. I think that's going to be the time when things start getting very real. And the closure of this chapter feels a lot more real as we enter Libra season, and even as we make our way into the first week of October. Like I said, I know I'm late publishing this, so we're going to carry this over into the first week of October. So as we cross over that threshold a little bit, the ending factor, I think, really hits home. But I also know that your creative energies are going to really, really start to kick in. And it's interesting. It's like, okay, this is everything I asked for. It's everything I asked for. And it's exceptionally common that when we try or intentionally manifest something, that other things have to fall off. There's almost always this period of elimination. Now, this Pluto out of bounds, just so you know what that is, so the sun travels on this path that we call the ecliptic, right? And the ecliptic is the path where the zodiac constellations lie. So the sun moves on the ecliptic, and throughout the course of the year, it moves to the north and south of that ecliptic line. And it does so, there's like a specific degree, it's like 23 degrees, 27 minutes or something like that. I could be wrong on that. 23 degrees, 27 minutes, I think, to the north, and 23 degrees, 27 minutes to the south. Mostly the other planets, Mercury, Venus, all them, they usually stay within that band. But once in a while, a planet like Pluto will move to the north or to the south of that band. And when it moves out of bounds, okay, it kind of gives an opportunity for that planet to express itself so purely and so perfectly. So we're going to see a ton of plutonic themes. It's going to be in and out over the next decade, and then we won't see it out of bounds for 3,000 years. The last time it was out of bounds was 1938. So we know how powerful that is. We had World War II around that time. Now this time it's going to be a little different. It's probably going to have a little bit more to do with internal conflict as opposed to like world conflict, revolutions, civil wars, that type of thing on the global stage. But for us as individuals, it is deeply revolutionary for us in our lives. And because Cancer, this is happening in your 8th house, this also means a lot of destruction and a lot of elimination, a lot of death for you. And I say death more metaphorical, okay? So there is going to be a lot of that, and I think this is the only card that suggests that. But I think this is a very heavy card. Now, we're going to clarify it, so there could be really positive clarifier cards that come out, and actually I'm kind of sensing that there will be, but this still feels like that part of you that knows that in order to open up this new one, an old chapter has to die. And I think that does weigh heavy on your heart, but it creates the space for you to manifest and actualize the life that you have been asking for. With the Empress, that's what she does. She creates and brings things into form. And as of October, that is going to happen. Okay? Oh, you know what? Before I do that, I got to pull off the oracle cards. So Cancer, what is it you need to know for September from the Animal Spirit deck? We start with be playful. Yeah, I think this is supposed to be kind of a fun experience for Cancer. It's always fun when we start to expand. It's more about going with the flow, and I just don't see a ton of resistance. Even this card here doesn't feel like a resistance. It just feels like protection, right? Like you're just not letting people in on this process, and that's okay. I think that's a good thing because you don't want to be interrupted, and you don't want to interrupt the process yourself. So, but it is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a whimsical experience for you. And I think the more you can run with the punches, the better off you'll be. Have faith in your dreams. I mentioned faith and trust a lot here with the Nine of Cups, and I think, yes, you are going to have a lot of faith and trust, but the reason for that is because that is the form of magic that will bring these things into reality. Now, this full moon eclipse in Pisces, which happens tomorrow, is a very big and powerful eclipse, and that eclipse is going to be the source of magic. So you just got to wait for things to kind of click into place, but you can have faith that they will come to fruition. Okay, now let's pull off the clarifiers. So we're going to pull a bunch of new cards. Okay, so for those of you who are new, we are going to pull about 30 cards here, and we're going to get as in depth and as in detail as we possibly can about every single one of these cards, so that you can have as much information as possible. So if you want to join me for the comprehensive reading where we cover all these cards, you can. The link will be in the description box in the comment thread down below. Really happy we got the Eight of Wands twice, because it does suggest that things start moving quickly in the beginning of September. What was this card again? I forgot. Oh, Nine of Wands. Another Five of Cups, Ace of Swords, Seven of Swords, High Priestess, Temperance, and another Seven of, well, not another, but a Seven of Wands. Ten of Wands, Death, Two of Coins, Six of Wands, Two of Wands, and see, I knew there was going to be positive clarifiers. I knew it. Felt that way to me. Justice, Page of Cups, I'm sorry, Knight of Cups, and the Hermit. Ten of Coins. See, from a 9 to a 10. The 10 is the extensions. This is the important thing to focus on. King of Cups and a Nine of Cups. Nine of Coins, I'm sorry. I don't know why I always do that, coins and cups. Three of Cups, Three of Wands, and last but not least, we have the Knight of Coins. All right, Cancer, this is where we're going to pick up. So if you want to join me, you are more than welcome. The link is down below in the description box in the comment thread. Thank you so much. Have a great month, and I'll talk to you soon.